What's up, Legion? It's me again, stevezapf. We're here a lot this week. Trust me, there's a lot of stuff going on. This is our review of Halloween Havoc, and of course, with me, since it's an NXT event, is my boy, Big Hound Dog. How you doing, Hound?
I am doing wonderful, Steve. Aside from being a broken-hearted Yankee fan at the moment, everything else is going well. Just go out with a little bit of class, Yankees. Win one of these damn games.
I'm sure Showtime is actually feeling the exact same way as you, so we will have that going for us in some of the other episodes of the week. Are you feeling better, at least? When I spoke to you for our normal episode, you had the forever plague.
No, because the weather down here, or rather up here comparatively to you, decided to be 30 overnight, 47 in the morning, and then got up to 78, and is now currently 41 again, and it's going to go down to 30, and it's going to hit 82 tomorrow. So I've just accepted I'm dying.
The world just hates. The Mother Nature is like, Hound, screw you.
And then I never had allergies, and then I got old, and suddenly now I'm affected by things, and now I need sleep, and the cold bothers me. I don't like this.
Stupid.
Screw getting older.
Yeah, screw getting older. Oh, man. All right, so we're going to talk about Halloween Havoc, NXT's Halloween Havoc, not to be confused with WCW or NWA's Halloween Havoc. So I liked certain parts of this. I really didn't like certain parts of this. How would you think of the show overall?
I thought this was the weakest NXT product that's been out in a while. That's not to take anything away from any in-ring performer. Obviously, they're out there. They're not everybody's going to put on an all-star caliber performance every time. And everybody who's on that show is better than I could have ever hoped to have been. But that being said, you are putting it out there for the world to consume, so it can be critiqued. And if, we often talk about numerical scores, letter grades, things like that, there was one really big standout match, one huge standout moment for me. And then other than that, it passed, but, it passed with a D.
I think I know what kind of gets me with this match, or with this show in general, and this is Halloween Havoc in general since the inception of it, even in the WCW NWO days, or NWA days, excuse me. It's a show completely built off of gimmicks, and I don't necessarily always need a gimmick match. I like it. There was one match in this whole card that really didn't have a gimmick behind it, and it was my favorite match on the card, easily. Little things that did happen on this. I like seeing Gigi Dolan back in the cold open out of the remaining members of Fatal Influence is the new one, so it's the Attraction was what was their original group, and she's actually my favorite member between her and JC Jane. I think she has a huge upside. But I know she's been gone for a while, and I was really happy to see her back, because this probably means she'll be either back in the ring or back doing something really soon. I didn't hate the Oba Femi Tony D'Angelo match. I mean, I think the nicest thing I can say about this program was it was short. I hate to say it like that, but it just, in a world where we have so many standout products right now, unfortunately, when you don't stand out, it really shows sometimes. And like you said, I think this was a passing performance. I think a lot of these wrestlers, did so much better than you and I could ever possibly do. But this was not the best NXT product that they've put out there yet. I think some of this stuff was to further storylines.
100%. And it's almost unfair when NXT has, let's just call it an off night. because that's really kind of what it was. Overall the product was off. But when we're comparing it back in the day, and anybody who's listening, if you didn't watch like old NXT stuff, we're talking like the original takeovers. Oh my good God. Every one of them. There, what was it, like 1 through 27 was an A plus, if not like A plus plus, and like they didn't miss. My God, you had Gunther and Ilya Dragunov murdering each other. We had good. You
Finn
and I got
Balor
to see
versus
Finn
Samoa
Balor.
Joe.
We got to see in person Finn Balor and Kevin Owens at the takeover. We got
In
to
a ladder
see
match.
one of the greatest women's matches ever with Banks and Bailey in person. And you look back at some of this stuff, like the old Sami Zayn stuff, all that stuff in there. It's a high bar to live up to, and it's okay. I mean, oftentimes I do think you need to have a show that doesn't land super well, because it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad, but I mean, you're comparing it against some titanic performances.
That's the thing. I agree with you. It wasn't a bad show.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. This was not a mind-blowing show. And I think that's the thing is, I think we've seen so much good stuff lately that when some of the stuff that's been hitting lately hasn't been mind-blowing, we actually hold it. We're holding it a little bit more accountable.
That, and it's just, I think it's, even if we're not, it's going to seem like we are, because the gap between where one thing landed and the other thing landed, if we're looking at it, in a race, sure, maybe Halloween Havoc got the person that raced the bronze still on the podium, but the one that won gold, they were chilling, having a drink in a power bar well before you rounded the final corner, kind of thing. And that's not to say you didn't do a good job. It's just, my goodness, when you put some incredible products out there and it's becomes what people are expecting. What is that? It's the curse of high expectations, something like that. Is that the phrase I'm looking for? I think I'm saying that wrong.
Like that.
I think I'm saying that incorrectly, but I think everybody will know what I'm going for.
Yeah, almost like a victim of their own dominance.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, let's get into the show overall. Like I said, it started with a cool. I dig this cold open. Gigi Dolan being back during the cold open was cool, but the opening match is Oba Femi versus Tony D'Angelo in not a TLC match. Like, there was ladders involved, but it wasn't a ladder match. It threw me off a little bit on that one.
I'm glad it's wrapping up the Oba Femi Tony D'Angelo stuff. I do believe that the feud blew off, and I think the right call was made in keeping the strap on D'Angelo. And I hinted at it when we were talking earlier, like, one really big moment of the night actually occurred in this match, and it was that spear from D'Angelo on Oba Femi through the ladder. Visually, that looked fantastic. And it, because Tony D'Angelo's not a little dude. Oba Femi's just a monster. And the visual of that, because it looked devastating, it looked real, and you oftentimes talk about facial expressions, everything else, the little micro cues in there. I thought those guys hit it perfectly. So to me, that was my big, jump out of my seat moment for the night. And there were a couple really good moments to jump out of the seat a little bit for, but that was the one where I was like, ooh, and kind of got the blood up a little, if you will.
So I think this match had a lot going for it. One, both these guys, like you said, neither one of these guys are small. Oba Femi is a presence, and he's a specimen. And they got right into the violence, which I kind of wanted the violence in this match. I kind of wish the level of violence that they hit in this match was the level of violence they hit in their main event.
Yeah.
I have here, Oba really is impressive. He really is. Like, every time I've critiqued him, I want everyone to understand my critique is because I kind of have to. I do think he is, by God, impressive. In that ring, in between those ropes, he is he is a natural, and it is scary that he's as big and as good as he is. I think they were very lucky in this case too, is that they got the virgin ring, so to speak. They're the first match out there. No one else saw anything else. Everything they did was fresh. You didn't have any fatigue on the crowd or anything, so everything just hit the right way, I felt like. Which, I'm not saying anything shouldn't have hit the right way, but they were lucky enough that no one had seen what they were going to do 3 other times throughout the night.
If this match wasn't the opening match, I don't think it would have been as well received. And that's even if it was the second match. Even if the first match was like a snoozer, I still don't think it would have been as well received. It was a good way to start it. And very often we get the starting matches, a lot of the smaller guys flying all over the place, like super fast, get the crowd going because, eyes keeping up, doing this, getting excited, getting into it. And they accomplished every bit of that with 2 big dudes. So you got to, yes, it's gimmicky. Every match kind of has a twist, if you will. And the twist on this, with this being the not ladder match, it was enough. Like you said, it was enough violence. It was enough to get the crowd into it, get enough and get enough crowd reaction to get them hot, but not burn them out. It was enough to really warm everybody up. So they did a great job, I thought.
I completely agree. One little couple little notes I have. Oba Femi's Lariat. You can call it a clothesline. You can call it a Lariat. I'm going to call it a Lariat because it's our show.
We kind of have to.
We have to. Is nasty as hell. Like it, yeah. Just out of the guy's boots type hit.
Yeah, I can't no-sell that one.
I think he's the same size as you.
Listen, I already hate him now. I'm a little taller.
I love, because kind of how we said, even though this is the full-on blow-off for this, it took the entire D'Angelo family to beat Oba, which means Tony wins and he keeps the title and he looks the way he should because it was all about family, like a Fast and Furious movie. But Oba still looks strong because it took 4 people to beat him.
I think Oba's loss in this actually elevated him into discussion for the world title. It was that they did it right. You cemented Tony D'Angelo as a solid secondary or mid-card title holder, and perfect. He's perfect for it. Not saying he doesn't have the chops to be competing for the bigger strap, because he's done it, and he did a fine job in those programs. But this right now, at least this stage where he's at, perfect wheelhouse for him.
Yeah, completely. So Tony D'Angelo wins the match. He retains the men's North American title. We have to crowbar that one because there is a women's North American title that gets defended later on in the evening. We get a little backstage segment here with Lexis King doing an interview, saying how hard it is to find a corner man for his upcoming Heritage Cup match against Charlie Dempsey. And he gets interrupted in the middle of this by William Regal. So William Regal is going to corner Lexis King against his own son.
Well, I mean,
he is a cad. He is a villain. He said it himself.
So this is not to go off on a little bit of a tangent here, but folks, do yourself a favor. If you want to see just some incredible stuff, there's many times, but some of the promos and the things that William Regal has done, in particular, when he was talking about his final match against, I guess we call him Claudio Castagnoli now, but at the time, Antonio Cesaro, the way he spoke leading into that, if you go back to the days of Triple H and Eugene, a promo that William Regal cuts defending Eugene, he's so underrated. And this is so perfect for his character, because if he does this, it's teaching his son a lesson. And if he turns on Lexis King, well, of course he did.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
I'm really excited about this. I'm excited about this match. If nothing else, we get the son of William Regal versus the son of Brian Pillman. And both of these guys are arguably as good as their parents were.
That is such high praise for Charlie Dempsey.
Dempsey has it, man.
He does, and I'm not saying it's not deserved, and like I've mentioned it in one of the things we recorded last. William Regal is in my top 10 wrestlers of all time. He's one of my favorites ever, and him and Fit Finley, another one like him, is in my top 10 wrestlers of all time, and to have somebody say that, they're every bit as good as either of those gentlemen and the statement be factual, it is some of the highest praise that, like, myself, I could dole out. And I completely agree, even though I wasn't the one who said it, but I'm echoing your sentiment. I think the sky's the limit for Charlie Dempsey.
Yeah, absolutely. He does there's certain things that he does that I really enjoy about Charlie Dempsey. And one of them is he's so good, and even though he's so good, he's willing to do some type of comedy. That's why I hold him in the same regard as his father, because his father was always willing to do that.
Yeah.
So do you want to try to fight William Regal?
You've known me a long time, man. There's not a human on this planet I wouldn't, if I didn't have to. I would do everything I could to avoid it until we were at the point of, like, it's like, well, I'm accepting my own ass kicking right here. Like, it is what it is. It's coming. Let's get to it. I hope I land a shot or two. Like, at least remember me, not just the big fat ass that just got beat up. Just remember, hey, that dude landed a clean shot on me. But yeah, no, William Regal would beat the brakes off me. You kidding? Like,
flipping your own switch.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's not a man God ever created that if I had to, I wouldn't go toe to toe with. He's one of the many, many that would just beat me senseless about the head, neck, chest, and shoulder area.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted as the answer, by the way. So moving on from the Lexus King backstage promo, we get easily my favorite match of the night. Easily. Then this was Cora Jade and Roxanne versus Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. My God. My God. First of all, the start of this match. Julia and Stephanie are being presented as superstars. Pure, unadulterated superstars.
Yep. As they should.
Oh, absolutely. And I have this in capitals on my paper, so I say it that way. Roxanne and Stephanie are so good. The wrestling that's on display is just, oh my God, it's top notch. It's chef kiss. The reversals, the chain holds, the pinning combinations that they were doing. Wow. Just wow. And it was so good. Like, you could see where my eye, your eye, we can see where it was a little bit of a slip, and they covered it up so well that it's not a slip anymore.
Yeah. It's the casual fan, if you will, the layperson. They will see a match that is filled with a ton of high spots, some that don't make a ton of sense together, but it's unbelievable athletic feats, and be like, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. And you know what? Great. You're not wrong. That's the greatest thing you've ever seen, because that's what you're looking for. But the subtleties you mentioned there, this match, the psychology behind it, why things were happening, the fact that we could get Roxanne and Stephanie in a ring, or Roxanne and Julia in a ring, and they could put on a chain wrestling clinic to the point where, you and I would stand up and applaud. I am so excited to see where the future takes Roxanne, because for me, aside from just how incredible the match was, and I thought the right finish did happen in the match, Roxanne continues to live up to that prodigy name.
She absolutely does.
Is she even 24 yet?
Maybe.
She's a baby.
Know. She's absolutely a baby. She's
Like,
like 22, 23 years old. And
to put in perspective, that's 6 years older than my daughter. She's a baby.
she's a child.
Yeah.
And
I'm
that's not to say
43 and I'm a child.
Yes, but that's different. You're a giant baby.
That's true.
You're a giant baby. I would like to say one of the things I liked in this match too is Julia looked a lot more comfortable. She's looking more comfortable in the ring. I think the way that they are presenting her now on the mic, even she feels more comfortable. I think it was a couple weeks of growing pains with her.
Yeah, we were constantly talking about that, and it was I remember I said it like this when out of Stephanie Vaquer and Julia, because they're banking on them being future for not just NXT but WWE, and I was saying I don't think Julia will be able to rise to the top in WWE because of the language barrier, but you are seeing she's very now quickly integrating into the WWE style of things, and that's the thing that I was worried about, because I was actually fearful she was kind of going to be a step behind on that for longer than she should have been, where it seems like Stephanie Vaquer just hit the ground running. And now Julia, her performance in that match showed that I have no reason to be worried about that. And yes, the way they're presenting her on the mic and everything else right now, yeah, 100%. She's a believable top star. She's got everything going for her. She hits snug. She's aesthetically, she is a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. Actually, all four in the ring, just beautiful people to look at. My God, you can tell the Japanese side of her and the Japanese style of wrestling, but she's not getting lost in it. And it's translating really well over to WWE, and I'm real excited for her.
I was going to say, there were some really cool, like, smooth transition moves that Julia did during this match. That there was something with a leg lock that she did it was just so nasty. It was like a helicopter, almost like jiu-jitsu style move, and it was, man, did she look good. And I got to bring it up because she's the fourth person in this ring, and we haven't talked about her. Cora Jade continues to, like, not impress me. And again, I don't know if this is a ring rust thing. I don't know if this is these other three are way up here, and she's good, but the level between good and great is immense. I'm not sure if it's any of that. I don't know if it almost seemed like she wasn't even in the ring most of the time. Like she wasn't doing anything. I would, at this point, the way they're presenting her, she kind of needs to be a manager.
I don't think she's fully healed.
Maybe that's what it is.
And yeah, and I think you're right. 100% there's some ring rust. I think she's got some timidity because she has been bitten by the injury bug multiple times at this point. So I'm sure there's a case of being very timid still. And I mean, you're out there with three just world-class professional wrestlers at that point. And I'm sure there's some psychological stuff being like, well, oh my God, what if I get hurt again? And yeah, she is better served kind of as a mouthpiece and, you know, an aside to whoever she is with. I think, truthfully, she needs a solid year of being in front of the camera, being in matches that are going to remain relatively safe for her, and a real good amount of rehab. Because while that's going on, I think she's going to be able to both rehab and lab her style. I fully believe she's got what it takes. I think she's in her own head right now. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. But yeah, you're right, though. There is definitely a chasm right now between her and the other three.
Like I said, she might be good, but the difference between... We're talking about someone who's good in the ring with three other people who are... They're past great. You know,
they
they're
can main event any show.
Yeah, exactly. And I would watch it. Right now, if we said we're going to get a three-way between Roxanne, Julie, and Stephanie, at the next whatever NXT PLE we get. I would be really excited about that.
You could say that we're getting that in a VFW hall, and I'm excited about it. That's just how good those three are. You know, give me the popcorn and give me a real crappy VFW hot dog, and we're golden.
Perfect. I love those crappy VFW hot dogs.
Yeah.
So Julia and Stephanie Vacour get the win. Vacour gets the actual pin on the NXT Women's Champion. That's a big prelude. She gets a clean pin on the champ. So I feel like that's leading towards probably a direct title shot from Stephanie.
I agree with you completely with that. And we would be remiss if we did not mention the finishing sequence with that. I'm not even sure what to call that move. It was just a twisting moonsault.
Like a sky twister moonsault.
Something like that. Folks listening, if you haven't watched it, I guarantee you can find a 10-second video of that. One of the cleanest high-flying moves I have ever seen in my life.
You know what I really want to see? And I mean, we've talked about Stephanie going on to the main roster. Can I get Stephanie Vacour versus Io Sky?
I think eventually we're going to get Stephanie Vacour and Julia against Damage Control. And I am excited.
I got a little chills thinking about that match.
Yeah, because oh my goodness. Because I guarantee you Julia has crossed paths with both of those ladies over in Japan before. So they've got some history. Stephanie Vacour has wrestled all over the world. And just, that's one of those where you can go to the four of them and go, you've got 18 minutes, have fun. And
yeah,
we just sit there going, this is just, we get it. This is awesome going on.
I completely agree. And this match was an A.
Yeah, borderline A+.
This match might have screwed up the curve of the rest of this show.
It really did. It really did. This match by a comfortable mile. Like nothing was even close. Like the best moment of the night for me was the Oba Femi Tony D'Angelo spear, because the look of it just came across. It was shot beautifully, everything. But that match, you could have put that match on WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. So let's move on because we are gushing at this point. And
not at all. Not even a little bit. We didn't like that match at all.
Not whatsoever. You know what's funny is the three of us have been gushing over women's matches for a minute now. If you still talk to Showtime, his match of the year is still probably Rhea and Becky.
I love that that's a thing now.
Yeah, it's the same. Listen, you're a girl dad. You get it.
I am a girl dad.
So let's go on to a match that did not do it for me. And that's Ridge Holland versus Andre Chase in an ambulance match. Here's the thing. I'm just going to start off.
Have fun.
I'm not even going to bash this match that much. This goes back to what I said, is this show is a lot of gimmicky stuff. And this is about as gimmicky as everything got. I'm just not into Chase U stuff. And I want to love Ridge, I think, more than I do. I think him being trapped in this Chase U stuff, and then before that being kind of chased in or stuck in the Brawling Brute stuff, I don't fall into love with him as much as maybe I should. But I did hear one of the best compliments for Ridge Holland that anyone has given him. And it was during Busted Open, and LaGreca described him as seeming like he's a young Brock Lesnar. That's high praise.
So Ridge Holland has every physical attribute you look for. Like you certainly, every one of us has what we look for in anything, be it music, movies, food, anything. Ridge Holland is one of those, like, just ticks the boxes for you. Dude's good looking guy. He's extremely muscular, extremely athletic. He can talk. It's believable that he could pull off some incredible power spots, and he's not so oversized that somebody like the size of, let's, even though he's not there anymore, like a Ricochet doing something to him isn't super unbelievable. So it's he has all of the physical attributes you're looking for. Yeah, it's I think they want to have something to do for him, and they don't have it right now. And this, I mean, look, the right person won this match, because had Andre Chase won this match, I'd have been like, well, that's Boo Earns. You get a failing grade from me now, because there's no need for that. Chase U, we've said it before, and I will say it again. Chase U is fine once in a while. It's one of those things where, it comes up once in a great while, and people be like, oh yeah, I remember that was super fun. And you can get nostalgia glasses for it a little bit, if you will. But Ridge Holland has been trapped in that for too long. I do like that coming out the other side of this, they have stirred something, because Ridge Holland comes across as a legitimate badass. They have stirred something now, potentially storyline wise, with another actual legitimate badass in Bully Ray. And folks who are listening, I have worked security before, and I've had to work security at an event where Bully Ray was there. He's one of those where you're just like, okay, I really need you to behave, because I don't have a tranquilizer gun. Like, it's not a joke. He's all that whole like badass stuff. It's real with him.
Well, and like when he got serious with him, where like during the pre-show, like he said, like it was all funny games, and then when he came out the second time, he was like, "That's twice now."
Yeah,
I gave you your respect before. Why don't you back? Like you heard the New York come out.
Yeah. When you get the flagrant New Yorker to come out of Bully Ray, you've. I don't think it's something he can control character-wise. I think, like, you've gotten him into it when, I'm not sure what borough he's from. I think it's Brooklyn, but I could be wrong. But it comes out. And I love when coffee and water comes out from Bully Ray.
The Twitter machine. But, like, when you saw him get serious, and, like, so Bubba, Bully, whatever you want to call him, said this too. Apparently, I guess they got in the back, and he started talking with William Regal about Ridge, and said, "So what's up with this guy?" He goes, "Well, he's at one point was like a top level rugby player, and apparently might have been trained by the same guy that Regal was trained by." I'm already nervous. Like, this guy had me nervous to begin with. Like I said, I think this match, if we can have this match be done, have him be done with Chase U stuff, and now he moves on to bigger, better, lots of cool stuff. Like, I want him in the NXT title race. I want him. If we're going to be pulling Ethan Page away from this, sorry for the spoiler there, but if we're going to be pulling Ethan Page away from this, I would love to see Ridge Holland going after Trick Williams.
I see where you're going with that, and I offer you this counter argument to that. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I want to kind of give this to you to mull over. I want somebody who's not Ridge and who's not Oba to be next for Trick, and then I want it to be Oba Femi. And while that's going on, I'm not opposed to Ridge Holland getting mixed up in the NXT North American title stuff, because we can have the same thing happen here. I don't want them to take that off Tony D'Angelo too quickly, and it would be very believable for Ridge Holland to have that happen, but you could kind of have the same thing occur here and let Trick get through a program with Oba, because I don't think Oba should be taking the strap off Trick Williams in the near future. But if we can give Ridge Holland a good program to work with and have a prize attached to it, even if he comes up, second place out of 2 in their match there, the way they did it with Oba, and he lands in the NXT title picture, even if it's something like, he wins a 4-way to get into it kind of thing, I would not be opposed to that leading into Mania, and this being where whatever the Mania version of the NXT PLE is, seeing Trick drop at the Ridge there. I'm not opposed to that, but don't rush it. I would like to see him in
I
a
don't want to
title
see it.
program.
Oh, I agree. I don't want to see anything rushed. Because anytime you rush it, it's always terrible. Like it just doesn't come out right the other way. So the WWE the NXT Mania PLE is stand and deliver, I believe. Is the one that they do.
And that's enough time now, because I mean it's basically November. It's October 29th as we're recording this. So it's basically November, and anybody knows the moment it hits September 1st, it's basically New Year's already, because the fall happens so quick. I mean, we're going into what, week 10 of the NFL season already? I swear to God, they kicked off opening night an hour ago.
I live in Florida. We don't have fall.
That's true. That's true. Well, you come from a place that had all 4 seasons.
That's facts. So let's go into this. This match was interesting to me, and this is Kehlani Jordan versus all of Fatal Influence in a gauntlet match. I like this is one of those times I like the gimmick. I don't know if I full on liked the match. I like the ending, and I like the gimmick. Like I said, I think JC Jane just strikes me as the girl that's always going to have to be in some type of clique or some type of stable. Jasmine Nix, I think, it might be too early to tell, but I think she's going to be something really great eventually. And Fallon Henley is ready for the main roster as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, the takeaway I had from this, and I thought the right member of Fatal Influence. I always butcher that. Did I say that right? But
Fatal Influence.
Yeah, I always was calling him Fatal Attraction because I just can't get out of my 1980s, 1990s movie brain sometimes. I thought the right person walked away with the NXT North American Women's Championship here. Kehlani Jordan is ready for more. I think she's ready to start being tested. I'm not saying she's ready to be in there with Vakur, Julia, and Roxanne, but it's time to start pushing her that direction a little bit. Just start getting where her name gets in the conversation. And I think she's there's supposed to be levels to everything. I think she is above the North American title level now at this point. And the right member of Fatal Influence got the title, and that's the right group to debut the Zarya thing with, which, it happened at the end of this where the Overwatch Muscle Mommy got in the ring and beat up everybody.
Oh, man. Jesus Christ. It always gets me when you say it. Tell
me I'm wrong.
I would like to see Kehlani Jordan get kind of a fight program.
Yeah.
Before she got put into the running for the NXT Women's title. I think she needs something to prove that she's not. I not to echo what Fatal Influence and Booker T are saying, but I need something that proves that she's not just an NIL athlete. I need something to prove that she can do more than what they're scripting for her.
Okay.
I don't know who that is, but I need that.
Okay. I have the right idea here, and the person's not available presently, but the right person for that would be a Becky Lynch type, because Becky Lynch goes over in that. But it's one of those, like we talked about with Grayson Waller and Edge before he left for AEW, where he was like, you swam. Or way back in the day when it was the Shelton Benjamin Shawn Michaels match, and it was really Shelton Benjamin getting the rub. The right person, the veteran, who is the bigger name, won in all those instances, but the young up and coming stars showed they belonged. Becky Lynch would be the right person for that. Hell, even a Bayley type. You kind of need a main roster stand out-ish, air quotes, somebody to go down there who has a bigger name who is going to win the program, but in the process elevate Kalani Jordan, because the bigger name is supposed to win that program. You would be doing a lot of damage to the bigger name if you put Kalani Jordan over at this time. You can have her get back to that. Or, you know what? Tiffany Stratton.
I could see it being Tiffany.
I think their styles would work well together too. But a type like that is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think that would work. I think Tiffany Stratton would be really good. Actually, you know who would probably be really good too, especially since they're doing stuff with her again, would be like a Candice LeRae.
Yeah, that's a good one. But it's believable for Kalani Jordan to win that.
That's why I think it would be good, a good program. Like they could have a series of matches and prove that Kalani Jordan belongs. Like they could go 3 like 3-2 with each other and really run a program, or go 2 of 3, like really get a couple matches out of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't have to necessarily be anybody we're naming, but it's more just kind of getting an idea and a type, because you do need somebody who is going to be able to lead that match and instill enough confidence into Kalani Jordan to where it's like, trust yourself. Now you're in here with me. I'm not going to let anything happen to you or to me. You got this. You go get it now, girl, kind of thing. And that's why, to me, if she was around, I think Becky Lynch would be perfect for it. Because I do think Becky Lynch is she's Mount Rushmore women's wrestlers. And I can't wait, because I think she's closer to that part of her career than she is further at this point. I think she's going to do a lot for the younger talent coming up, and I'm real excited to see it.
I do agree with that. I completely agree. So, as we said, though, at the end of this, Fallon Henley ends up winning. She's the new Women's North American Champion. We get the Zarya debut, and she beats up all of Fatal Influence. What is it again? Fallout Muscle Mommy?
No, Overwatch Muscle Mommy.
Overwatch Muscle Mommy. Sorry, wrong video game.
Yeah. Listen, I'm the gamer nerd here, okay? It's fine. But, dude, have you looked at a picture of Zarya yet from Overwatch?
No.
Do it, because it's her, it's her with blonde hair.
Jesus. I'm going to have to do it now. By the way, that might now it's going to end up being like posted on the show.
Superimposed.
Just before the main event, we get Ridge Holland coming out. This is what we were alluding to before, and gets right in Bubba and LaGreca's face and starts yelling at them. LaGreca's face during this is priceless. This is the build-up that we need. And let's face it, this is going to build to Ridge versus Bubba at the ECW arena. It has to.
Yeah. It does, for two reasons. One, I think the two of them will work really well together. Like we said before, Ridge Holland, Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, whatever you want to call him, is a big dude. But Ridge Holland is built in such a way that when he does a power move to a Bully Ray, it looks right. And Ridge Holland also has a chest that was made for chopping. And Bully Ray,
likes to throw chops.
He's hit other people, and it's made me want to throw up. Like, who was it? Was it EC3 out in TNA? No, not EC3. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on the guy. But it's it's going to kill me. I can't remember who it is. But he hits this poor kid with 3 overhand chops, and I wanted to cry for him. Because the kid was blessed by the gods, when it came to looks. I mean, it had absolutely nothing to do with any kind of, over-the-counter supplement, if you will. Nothing whatsoever, that's perfectly actual, natural cannonball deltoids coming off the side of his arms. But it sounded like a pistol was shot with a shotgun. And he did it 3 times. And it was just like,
you poor man.
Yeah. I was
you poor man.
Yeah, it was so bad, dude.
Oh, all right.
I'm looking forward to Ridge Holland being hit like that. Like when Iron Mike Sharp chopped me and I threw up.
Oh, he's gonna chop him, and Ridge is gonna like European uppercut him, and it's gonna be so hard from both of these guys.
I love it.
This is like you said. Every so often, you like to see that match where two guys just lay into each other, and I think this is gonna be that.
Yeah.
A
To
match
quote
that was
Biggie,
not that.
A match that was slapping meat.
Oh, man, meat just slapping. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh Billy.
Okay, you've taken it too far.
Way too far. Every time.
Oh, Jesus Christ on a cracker.
So a match that was not as hard hitting as it should have been was the main event of tonight of this show. The main event. So we get Ethan Page and Trick Williams in a Devil's Playground match for the NXT title. Listen, I'm not always the most adept for ultraviolence when there's no need for it, but this was a match that needed ultraviolence.
Even if it didn't go the ultraviolence route, it needed more, like, OMG or holy shit moments. It needed some of them. I'm sorry, and it's not to go too far into the match. I was like, okay, I mean, they're doing an okay enough job. Like, they were doing it. It was a house show match is really what they were kind of putting on. But when Trick Williams put a goddamn jack-o'-lantern on Ethan Page's head and then started punching it, and it's like, you're gonna pretend like that pumpkin doesn't hurt your hand more than Ethan Page's head, and somehow this is bothering him when he's like, oh, this is lovely. I'm just hearing thump, thump, and nothing is happening to my
No
brain.
sell.
Yeah,
No.
It's, yes, no sell it. Like, if you're gonna do that, they could have done that, and if Ethan Page would have just grabbed him and headbutted him and broke the jack-o'-lantern, it would have raised this match up just a little bit, because it would have been like, that's wonderful and hilarious.
So, literally what I have written down for my notes on this are: this match should be more violent, less comedy. There was too much comedy in this match.
Yeah, especially for a blow off. That's why I said it was a house show match. This is if like it, and for anybody listening, like, let's just say in an alternate timeline, somehow Steve and I made it to the big time, and we were working a program with each other on a house show. This is the two of us. This is the kind of thing we'd be doing to make each other try to break character, so that way we could laugh about it later. It was one of those. I guess I want to say it this way: is kind of read the room. And they really they really misread the room here.
I would have broken you.
A little bit. I would have hit you with the nerve hold spot. You know what it is.
Or the Geba punch.
Oh yes, yeah, good Lord, you'll get the Geba bomb.
So it's funny that you brought up the pumpkin breaking. On a side note, this past weekend I also went to the NWA Sam Haines show. And Carson Drake challenged for the television title against, I always forget the name, the non-binary Blitz or whatever they call her. And at one point, he's like up against the steps and they break a pumpkin on him. Like they smashed it. He goes, oh, smash the pumpkin. Now, mind you, Billy Corgan, the owner of the NWA, is there. And he goes, who would name a band after this? This is stupid.
Oh my gosh, and despite all his rage, he was just a rat in a cage. Good Lord.
That's exactly what it was.
By
the way, during the show, they put a little person in a cage. And I felt a way about it. Here's where I felt a way about it. It's not that they put the little person in a cage. It's that it was clearly not like a shark cage. It was clearly not like a cell. Apparently it was a bird cage is what I heard. I thought it was like a dog crate. Either way, it was terrible. I felt a way about it.
I'm not going to get us canceled.
I'm not trying to. This is literally what happened, though. And like I said, I felt a way about it.
Oh, I feel a way too. And I
Yeah.
have absolutely no jokes and would like to move on from this subject.
Where's Ray? Sorry, that was an inside one. All right, guys. So the
Because he
end of
would have
this
fit inside a
match.
birdcage. He was so little.
Who's so little?
God, I missed that guy.
So the end of this match, we get Trick coming out on top, and we have Ridge Holland coming out to attack Trick with Ethan Page. Bubba Ray Dudley comes in and makes the save. As I said, we get Trick Williams retaining, as he probably should have in this match. I see no reason why he should have taken the title off of Trick here, but it's just this match left a little wanting.
You know, now that I think about it, and the entrance that Trick did, while cool, I think it probably, like, in this, that's hindsight being 2020 and maybe being, conspiracy minded or whatever. I don't know, however you want to say that. He did like a Willy Wonka entrance, and I guess, dude, it was kind of like, yeah, that it. And Willy Wonka's not a serious character, and it's almost like Trick Williams embodied that for that match. Like it wasn't serious, and I think this did more harm than help for Trick.
I agree. I think this. I just think this match. I think I expected more out of Trick. I think I expected more out of Ethan Page. I think I just expected more of this match, and like we said, this was not a bad PLE. It just wasn't a phenomenal PLE. Like, if you go back and watch this, you can watch this and it'll probably be extremely entertaining. But also, if you go back and watch this after listening or watching what we just said about all this, you'll see all the little points that we just brought up.
Yeah, or in a worst case scenario, if you went on like an NXT binge and you went back to the old takeovers like I referenced earlier, and then compared it to this, you'd be like, yes, didn't do it for me. Like,
yeah,
in
like
comparison,
we get it.
It felt more like a like an NXT weekly program that just had one unbelievable match, and for me, one unbelievable like cinematic moment.
I completely agree. Like I said, I don't hate this pay-per-view or PLE. No. I don't. It's a. This was like a 5-match PLE for NXT as opposed to like a 5-match PLE for WWE for main roster stuff. I see them coming back out of this and doing something really cool for whatever their next one is. I think they're going to have a huge bounce back, especially with the women's stuff. And I see Trick having to move on. This might be we might get Trick versus Wesley after this in a weird combination. I could see that.
Wesley, I think you're right. I think he's the right guy for the next, we'll call it like a mini feud for whatever it's going to be. Next 6 to 8 weeks, Trick and Wesley, and that'll work. And the two of their styles will work really well together because Trick is a lot bigger than him, and he'll be able to look like the super powerhouse. And Wesley is just so damn good. He's gonna. It's just gonna. Their style is gonna go really, really well together. Where Ethan Page, I believe he's going to be main roster bound here soon.
I agree. I completely think that's going to be happening soon. But, folks, that was Halloween Havoc 2024 for NXT. This has been I Still Call It Lariat covering this. Of course, me and Hound always cover the NXT stuff and the AEW stuff. And you will be hearing more from us. We have the TNA Bound for Glory review coming out this week as well. We have the Crown Jewel preview coming out this week, not to mention Showtime and Mai's episode that covers WWE and TNA stuff. There's been a lot of movement in the world of pro wrestling recently, so guys, please keep listening, keep liking, keep watching. If you have friends that like pro wrestling and you think we're a good show, let them know. The biggest thing you can do also is if you're liking or if you're watching or you're listening and you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. It doesn't cost anything extra, and it helps our show more than you will ever know. But outside of that, Hound Dog, you got anything left to say to the peoples?
Well, as always, folks, we thank you for giving us your most precious resource, your time. God bless and enjoy Halloween.
And as always, tuck your chin when you bump.